Hi everyone, welcome to the second episode of Mobile Legends Doll Repaint series. In this video, we're going to make Ruby. Ruby is actually my main, that's why I picked her. I recently just got the Edelweiss skin, but I'm still going to make her in her default skin. In fact, I'm going to make the future Mobile Legends dolls in their original skins. Seems to be more conventional that way. Speaking of skins, where the fuck is Ruby's Pirate Parrot skin? Where the fuck is it? It's been way too long, Munton. Where is it? I believe this skin is going to match Roger's Phantom Pirate because Roger and Ruby are somehow related, but I can know for sure because it doesn't exist, right? Anyways, this is the first Monster High / Ever After High girl doll I have ever customized. That's pretty exciting. Without further ado, let's begin. For the base, I was considering to use this Bunny Blanc doll. I even cut her hair and switched her hands with Dracularis already. But well, she's too pink. Then someone was selling this Lizzie Hearts doll for cheap, and of course I knew she's a better candidate to make Ruby, so of course I bought her. She has the right skin tone, she has the right body type, she even has a heart on her face. It was destiny. You know the drill about the prepping stage, cut the hair as close to the scalp as possible. Detach the head from the body and scrape off the stubble. Pull out the remains from the neck hole with some tweezers. The head is now free of hair. Look at this. This looks like a gunk of hair full of You know what, let's not get into details, it's disgusting. Now we can remove the factory paint with pure acetone. Then clean the head with wet wipes to remove the excess acetone. Spray the face 3 times with Mr. Super Clear so we can start the face up. I begin the face up with some initial blushing, like applying pink pastel on the cheeks, light brown pastel around the eyes, nose, and forehead. Blushing the face is actually a subtle thing, but it makes a huge difference because it really elevates the overall face. I always go overboard, but I think I'm getting better at this. On the same layer, I sketch the shape of the eyes using a light brown watercolor pencil. I add the irises and eyelids. I spray the face again with MSC to start working on the lips and eyebrows. Remember, eyebrows are supposed to be sisters, not twins. They don't have to look perfect, they just have to look okay. Then I build up the colors of the scleras and the tear ducts. I don't know what color her eyes are, but I know they're between green and blue. So I decided to color the upper parts of the irises dark green and the lower parts light blue. I draw on strands of hair on the eyebrows. I also like to make the outer tips darker. After giving the face another layer of MSC, I continue to work on it to push the color value even further. With a black watercolor pencil, I define the upper eye line and do the lashes. I make the iris more vibrant. And give the eye a black pupil. Now I do all that to the other eye. I forgot to draw the lip line, so let's do that now. One side of the face will always look better than the other. That's just how it is, always, so just get over it. If you like the eyes to be super vibrant and opaque, you can paint them using acrylic paints now. I personally don't like that, and plus, I'm a shitty painter. So I'm gonna stick with doing my face ups using watercolor pencils exclusively, different strokes for different folks. Finally, we can dot on the eye shines and give the face the final layer of Mr. Super Clear. I think this is the prettiest girl doll I've ever done. The ones I've done before are fucking ugly. I mark how the hair is gonna be. It's divided into 3 parts, the bangs and the other 2 parts. Her hair isn't that long and I'm not in the mood for rerouting, so let's just use yarn wefts. I start with the bangs. I trim the bangs after gluing a few rows of wefts to make it more manageable. After the bangs is complete, I continue by gluing wefts for the parts. You'll end up with this triangular space. All you have to do is glue more wefts to complete one side of the head. Do the same to the other side. You'll end up with something like this. I know it looks crazy, but it can easily be tamed with a damn toothbrush. Don't worry. Then let it dry completely afterwards. If the parts are still bumpy, you can try to heat up a flat metal object with a hair straightener and press them down with it. She looks cute like this, but we have to curl the hair. It was my first time curling yarn wefts, so it was a trial and error. I tried heating up a metal handle with a hair straightener and wrap the hair around it. It does something, but not much. I find the most effective way to do this is actually the other way around. You wrap the hair first, then you heat it up. You can do that several times until you're satisfied with the curls. The left side of her hair is so much better than the right one. But that's okay, in this house we appreciate imperfections. Now let's just trim the ends. We can now reunite the head to the body so we can move on to the clothes. First thing we're going to make is the blouse. Here's the pattern and we can start by sewing the shoulder seams. Then I sew this floral ribbon front and center for the details. Hem the neckline. Fabric glue helps to keep things in place while you sew. This is what the neckline looks like. Now we can sew the tabs in the back. Now we can construct the sleeves, which are the trickiest parts because I want to make them puffy. I make channels for elastic at the bottom parts. Make sure you can pull the elastics all the way through and sew one side shut to keep them in place. That way when you pull the elastic, the bottom part gets crunched. That's what we want. Now we gather the top parts of the sleeves. Attach them to the bodies. Is that the right term? I studied fashion design in college, I should know this. But then again I dropped out, so... We can now sew the side seams. Don't forget to pull the elastics when you get to the sleeves. Turn it inside out and hem the bottom. Sew snaps in the back. And there you have it, a fucking blouse. For the skirt, I start with a circle skirt pattern. I'm going to paint a white border first. I add 2 gold lines on the border. I cut a slit and gather the waist. After that, we can sew the waistband. Now sew the opening seams halfway through. Did I forget to mention that I made the clothes using my brand new computerized sewing machine? I can sew without a foot pedal. How crazy is that? Honestly, the sewing machine is way too high-tech for me, but I'll warm up to it. I have to warm up to it. Bottom line is that I don't speak poor anymore. Back to the skirt, let's sew the snaps. I tried it on the doll and I'm not sure I'm liking this. No, we'll figure it out later. Now let's make the petticoat. I cut 4 long strips of tulle and gathered them together. Then I sew elastic on top of the stitches to be the waistband. It should look like this and trim the excess tulle. Now we can sew the seams together. Then I sew a piece of elastic that goes across the crotch. This is what it looks like, let's try it on. It looks great. I like the shape so much I remade the skirt using the same method. I think it looks better. Does it look better? This piece is for the cape and we're going to tackle the graphic on it first using this shitty stencil I made. After I'm done tracing, I block the shapes with black paint. Excuse my big ass head. After the black paint dries, I go over it again with gold paint. This is the pattern for the hood. Let's sew the top and back seams. Flip the top of the front side to the inside and put the lace on top of it. So when you sew, you hem the opening of the hood and attach the lace at the same time. Cut off the excess tab and the hood portion is done. Check out this paint job. Pretty awesome if I say so myself. Now we can sew the hood to it. I also top stitch it to make the hood lay flat, and now we can sew the snaps. I forgot to tell you that I made the skirt and the cape out of t-shirt material because it doesn't fray. Working with knit fabric can be a hassle because you need the right equipment to do it, but it looks good on dolls. For the corset, it's pretty simple. It's just a strip of stretchy black fabric with a design painted on. Then I sew 2 pairs of hooks and eyes. And the corset is done. That was pretty easy. The paint actually cracked, so let's touch it up while the corset is on the doll. For the wristbands, cuffs thingy, I painted 2 gold lines on a strip of stretchy black fabric and sew yellow elastic in the middle. I folded right sides together and sew the seam. It turned out to be too small. I can turn it inside out. We need a different approach to deal with this. First, I gathered the strip right in the middle. Then I sew yellow elastic on top. Then I glue the sides to make finished edges. I wrap it around the doll's wrist and do a leather stitch. It's a lot of effort for such small things, but hey, that's what doll customizing is all about. Here's the pattern for the socks. You just have to sew the side seams to make them. I trim the excess seam allowance. I cut zigzag around the openings. Now we can start painting the diamond pattern on the socks using white paint first. Then go over it again with the real color, which is red. To make her scythe, I made this armature out of skewer and wire being held together with hot glue. Then I cover it with epoxy, just to block the shape. After the first face is cured, you can add another... Fuck this. After the first face is cured, we can add another layer of epoxy for the details. I wrap yarn around the handle to make the texture. After it's cured, we sand. Then we paint. Since we primed the side with black paint, I will also paint the shoes. These were Scar Screams. Let's continue to work on the side, like painting the handle gold, the blade silver, and the hearts. There are so many hearts in Ruby's design. After the paint dries, I give the handle 3 coats of watered down matte varnish to protect it. Do the same to the shoes. Then I give the blade part 3 coats of super gloss varnish without watering it down. I want it to be super glossy to mimic metal best I can. To make her brooch, I paint this piece of black vinyl gold. I glue a red heart-shaped rhinestone on it. I cut around the rhinestone, leaving a border. I cut tiny pieces out of white vinyl to make the wings. I glue those pieces on the back side. Then we glue it to the cape opening. Finally, the last thing we have to make is her eye patch. I cut out a heart out of red vinyl. Then sew a thin elastic loop. Glue the heart right on the stitches. I add a small strip of vinyl on the back for reinforcement. Alright, that is all, and finally we can call it a doll. Dude, everything about her feels right. She turned out awesome. It's been a while since the last time I felt this way about my customs. She is easily one of my favorites now. I think I finished her in 2 weeks. To complete a doll in less than a month feels great. I think I'm gonna tone down the body modification and do more girl dolls just because there are so many of them in my stock box. Delightful Hextian Moonlight Jewel, watch your back, I'm crossing over. Anyway, this is the end of this video. Like and subscribe if you want to. See you in the next one. Bye!